Rwanda, a country known for its breathtaking landscapes and rich cultural heritage. But beneath its natural beauty lies a dark and haunting past, a small nation scarred by genocide. In 1994, Rwanda was the site of one of the most horrific genocides in human history. Over the course of just 100 days, nearly 1 million people were brutally murdered. The scars of this atrocity run deep, affecting every aspect of Rwandan society. In its heart, Gitarama prison, a testament to man's capacity for cruelty. Originally built to house a few hundred inmates, it became a symbol of the country's struggle with justice and humanity. More than just a prison, Gitarama was a crucible of human suffering, a place where hope went to die. The conditions were beyond inhumane. Prisoners were packed like sardines, with barely enough room to sit, let alone lie down. Thousands crammed into a space built for hundreds. The overcrowding was so severe that many inmates were forced to stand for days on end. Disease spread like wildfire and medical care was virtually non-existent. The air thick with the stench of sweat, excrement, and decay. The floors were covered in filth and the walls were stained with the marks of countless desperate hands. The lack of sanitation led to outbreaks of cholera and other deadly diseases, the cries of the suffering echoing through the cold, damp corridors. Day and night the sounds of agony and despair filled the air. The guards, often corrupt and brutal, added to the prisoners' torment. This was not just punishment, it was torture. The psychological and physical abuse endured by the inmates was unimaginable. Many lost their sanity while others succumbed to the relentless brutality. Gitarama prison stands as a stark reminder of the depths of human cruelty and the resilience of the human spirit. Imagine this. You can't stand, you can't lie down. The space is so cramped that every inch of your body is in contact with someone else's. The air is thick with the smell of sweat, fear, and despair. You can hear the muffled cries and groans of those around you, each one a testament to the agony they are enduring. You are pressed against bodies, a sea of flesh as far as the eye can see. The heat is unbearable, and the lack of ventilation makes it hard to breathe. You can feel the weight of the crowd pressing down on you, making it difficult to move or even shift your position. The walls seem to close in and the ceiling feels like it's getting lower with each passing second. Every breath is a struggle, every moment a fight for survival. The air is so thin that it feels like you're breathing through a straw. You can see the desperation in the eyes of those around you, each one fighting for just a little more space, a little more air. The noise is deafening, a cacophony of coughs, wheezes, and cries for help. This was the reality of Gitarama. The overcrowding was unimaginable. Built to hold a few hundred, it now housed thousands. The conditions were so dire that disease spread like wildfire and the stench of death was ever present. The guards, overwhelmed and outnumbered, could do little to maintain order or provide relief. Men forced to stand on each other's shoulders just to breathe, the weak trampled underfoot, death, a constant companion. In this hellish environment, survival was a daily battle. The strong preyed on the weak, and the sick were left to die. Hope was a distant memory replaced by a relentless struggle to stay alive for just one more day. Where bodies are packed like sardines, disease thrives. Cholera, dysentery, gangrene. Gitarama was a petri dish of infection. The air itself seemed to carry disease. Open sores festered untreated. The sick died slowly, their cries for help lost in the cacophony of suffering. Death, a mercy for some, a terror for others. Food, a luxury, not a right in Gitarama. Prisoners received a meager handful of maize a day, barely enough to sustain a rat. Starvation gnawed at their bellies, a constant ache. Men withered away. Their bodies, starved of essential nutrients, began to consume themselves, the desperation in their eyes a haunting memory. In the abyss of despair, humanity fractured. Violence, fueled by desperation and hunger, became a way of life. The strong preyed on the weak. A fight over a scrap of food could turn deadly. The guards, overwhelmed, turned a blind eye. In Gitarama, survival was a brutal game. Whispers of survival. In the heart of darkness, where hope seemed a distant memory, whispers of survival echoed through the cold, stone walls. These whispers were not just sounds but the very essence of human resilience, a testament to the indomitable spirit that refused to be extinguished. Yet even in this abyss, stories of resilience flickered. They were like the dim, flickering lights that barely illuminated the oppressive gloom, but were enough to guide the way. These stories were the lifelines that prisoners clung to, the threads of hope that kept them from falling into the abyss of despair. Tales whispered of men sharing their meager rations, of hands reaching out in the darkness to offer a piece of bread, a sip of water. These small acts of kindness were monumental in a place where brutality was the norm, and they spoke volumes about the strength of the human spirit, of acts of kindness amidst the brutality. In the face of relentless oppression, these acts were beacons of light, guiding souls through the darkest of times. They were reminders that even in the most inhumane conditions, humanity could still thrive. These were not tales of heroes, but of ordinary men and women who found extraordinary strength within themselves. Their faces, gaunt and weary, told stories of suffering, but also of an unyielding will to survive. They were the silent warriors fighting battles within the confines of their cells, but of ordinary men clinging to their humanity in the face of unimaginable horror. They held on to each other for support, finding solace in the shared struggle. Their bonds were forged in the fires of adversity, unbreakable and enduring. They remind us that even in the darkest night, a spark of hope can endure. The faint light filtering into their cells was a symbol of that hope. A reminder that the darkness was not all-encompassing. It was a promise that dawn would come, no matter how long the night. A spark of hope can endure. In their eyes, one could see the flicker of that spark, a glimmer of hope that refused to be snuffed out. It was this hope that kept them going, that gave them the strength to face another day, and to whisper their stories of survival. A crisis of conscience. Gitarama, a prison, a nightmare, a mirror reflecting the failings of humanity. How could this happen? How could the world stand by and allow such suffering? The answers are complex, uncomfortable. Apathy, political instability, a justice system in ruins, all played their part in this tragedy. Where does the blame lie? The blame lies not just with those who perpetrated these horrors, but with all of us who failed to prevent them. We must ask ourselves, what is the true measure of a just society? Is it the severity of its punishments or its commitment to the fundamental rights of all people, even those who have committed crimes? A stain on humanity. Gitarama prison stands as a chilling reminder of the fragility of civilization. It is a story we must never forget, a lesson we must learn from. For in the shadows of Gitarama, we see the very best and worst of humanity, and it is up to us to ensure that such horrors never happen again.